organization known as the Young Republican Leadership Conference. Members gathered Thursday in the nation's capital to discuss a variety of issues relating to their party. During the next hour, we will hear from Jeannie Austin, who is co-chairman of the Republican National Committee, and Republican Congressman Jim Nussle of Iowa. This event was held at the JW Marriott Hotel in downtown Washington, D.C.
I think that the 3.5 years that George Bush has been president, he has certainly demonstrated the strongest leadership of any president that I can recall, and I've been around for a lot of these presidents. When you witness what he has accomplished, an end to the Cold War, the collapse of the Soviet Union, all of the things that has happened under his watch, you can't help but stop and think, this man is very powerful. He's a strong leader, but he also has the common sense to know when to stand back and let freedom work, and that has happened. I think that the young Republicans deserve an awful lot of credit, and it's not because I am a young Republican at heart forever, but you do deserve an awful lot of credit because you have been there, as Mrs. Bush said. You were there putting up the yard signs. You were there knocking on the doors in these states where we had the Super Tuesday, Michigan and Illinois. I guess they called it Junior Tuesday, Super Tuesday, and then Midwest Tuesday or whatever. But you were there, and I know that some of you in some states, because I heard back from you, is with the challengers out there, you did meet some opposition, but you stood firm, and we appreciate everything that you do in that respect. When she was talking about the yard signs, I just have to tell you of a 1978 story on yard signs, because every once in a while, these speeches, you need a little bit of laughter, I think, to make the seriousness then seem more so. I was running for city council in the city of Orlando, Florida, and I didn't really want to do it, and I got talked into it. It was a special election. I only had 30 days. Thank God I only had 30 days that I had to be aggravated with this, not 6 months or, could I have a glass of water, please, Enid? But anyway, I was just having a tough time because a good many of my family, most of them, nearly all of my friends, they didn't want me to do that. They said, I don't think you can win in 30 days. You can't put a campaign together. And the funding, everything that you have to do. So they were not very supportive. A few of them came around and helped. But anyway, someone donated yard signs. And you know how a candidate always has to have yard signs and billboards and whatever. But I had 4x4s, which are huge. I could hardly lift one myself. So I kept asking son, husband, friends, nephews, would you please go put up my yard signs? I'm going to lose this race if I don't get these signs up. Could not get the signs up. Finally, one of the opponents, there were 4 of us in the race, and she called and she started, it was a nonpartisan race, but I knew she was a Democrat. Anyway, she was just cursing at me for tearing down her signs. And I said, wait. Have you seen any Jeannie Austin signs up in the city of Orlando? And she said, but no, I haven't, but I didn't take them down. I said, I haven't put them up. And I said, believe me, if I can't get a crew out there to put mine up, how the hell do you think I could get a crew to take yours down? As I mentioned, 1992 is going to be a fantastic year for us. I brought a headline story here from the Washington Post today. If you get a chance, you might want to get that newspaper. Illinois opens mean season for veteran office holders. If you think you can't defeat an incumbent Democrat senator, I remind you of Illinois, where Alan Dixon, senator, he lost in a primary. Now we have to get our person in there to win the general, and 2 incumbent congressmen. I'm telling you, the voters are sick and tired of the abuse, the check hiding, the free lunches, the perks, the free haircuts, the free gym, on and on and on. People are sick and tired of it, and I think that this is the perfect time for us to support the term limitation, the anti-incumbent, and sure, some of my Republican congressmen over here, my friends, they say, look, when you keep bashing incumbents, I are one. I said, well, there's more of them than us. and I want to get some of those people because they have been in control since 1955. That's longer than some of you have been on this earth. They have been in control over in that Congress, and I think it's certainly time for a change, and I know that with your help we'll make that difference. We stand a good chance to gain control of the Senate, and we haven't had that in a long time, so I think we can do it. They have to defend 20 Democrats. We only have to defend 15. So we're recruiting top-notch challengers around the country, and I hope that some of you are giving some thought to running for some of these legislative races in your respective home states. It's going to be our year. It's time. The proposals that the President has sent over, Mrs. Bush certainly talked about them and more eloquently than I can, but I just want to reiterate the President's domestic agenda that the Democrats bash us on. He doesn't have a domestic agenda. We have a domestic agenda. It's just not one the Democrats like. The crime bill has been over in the Congress for 3 years, since 1989. They don't pass it. It's kind of like the Vice President said a while back, isn't it sad that the Democrat Congress goes to bed at night saying, please, God, don't let the economy turn because it helps us. They would rather for the entire country to suffer thinking that they can capture that White House, and that's pretty sad when you look at it that way. But this is the 102nd Congress. I remind you to look back at your history books because if none of you were around at that time, when Harry Truman took to the campaign trail and he talked about that damn lazy do-nothing Congress, and they took in the largest number of new congressional seats ever. It was in the 80s. So I think that this president can do that, and I'm just waiting for tomorrow, March 20th deadline. Our chairman, Rich Bond, when he was elected February 1st, first thing he did on Monday morning when he got to the Republican National Committee was hang a big banner on the front of the building, a countdown for the days. It was 40, 39, and it's huge. And today it's 1, tomorrow I'm not sure what he's going to put on the front of the building, but I know it'll be good. So we are going to hold their feet to the fire. He gave them ample time, the president, to act on some of this legislation to help the hurt that's going on in this country. He can't do it alone. He has done all he can legally do as president. He can't do much more until the Congress enacts some of this. Across the country, and I've been in almost all of the states and about 30 states more than once. California, I've been out your way, coast to coast 20 times because it's a very important state to us, not to say that all of them aren't. It's just the size, the bigness of it. I have to tell you, I drove 550 miles within the city of Los Angeles. Never left the city of Los Angeles doing our events. You know, that's bigger than some of our states. But anyway, we are doing some great and wonderful things. The state parties are recruiting top-notch candidates around the country, and it's from the bottom of the ticket all the way up. The better we do building our farm team locally, the better we'll do all the way up and down that ticket. So again, give it some thought on helping find some good candidates. Be one yourself. It doesn't hurt much. Like I ran that time, I did lose only by 500 votes, but I said from that day forth, I will help get people elected rather than do that myself. And I'm just happier on the organizational side of the political spectrum. But the countdown is on. Tomorrow is 0 day on that, so I hope that some of you are thinking about some spins that you can put on it that would help us when you get back home. If you're the chairman of your chapter, your group, think about some press that you can do because it would help us. Anything